Hello, this is Yelena Azegovich from the Kansas City, Kansas Community College Center for Teaching Excellence. And the purpose of this video is to help you with some tips for organizing your online course. These are really just suggestions. You can take them or not. They're not requirements. You can modify them to make them fit better with your course. But these are really just some additional things to help you think through how to transfer what many of you have been teaching in an on-ground environment into an online environment. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is creating a starting point for your students. The way I do that is by having a class info start here button on the left side of Blackboard. And in that, I have a course management statement, which are basically instructor expectations of the students for the online environment. I also have netiquette guidelines that I post, and those are again requirements or kind of guidelines for students to know what is appropriate in a virtual environment for appropriate discourse and professional discourse. I also post what my discussion board requirements are and a rubric that I use to grade the students so students know exactly what they need to be doing on the discussion board and understand what the points are that are worth for the postings on the discussion board. The next thing I'm going to be talking about is creating a course at a glance. And this is really just a way to organize the class for your students, particularly if you're moving to an online environment and you've traditionally taught in an on-ground environment. You're not going to be physically in class to tell your students, okay, you need to do this reading assignment, or this is when this is a due date for this. So this is just a way to create a table basically for students to know what they need to do and when they need to do it. I'm going to speak about the calendar feature in Blackboard using the course link feature in Blackboard. And this is a way to link items in different areas of Blackboard and link them together. And this is just an ease of use feature for students. I'm going to briefly talk about the copy or move feature in Blackboard. And then finally, providing students with a link to lecture slides or notes as a way to help them with some of the content of the course as well. So I'm going to begin with creating a starting point for your students. First thing, and probably the main thing in this category, is the course management statement. And again, these are your expectations as an instructor. There are lots of items that you could include or not. This, in some ways, is a living document in that every time you teach, you may want to change something or tweak something. Some of the things you might want to include is a welcome statement, encourage your students to contact you with questions, briefly talk about the purpose of your course, talk about your expectations for an online environment, tell them how you're going to organize the course. For example, are you going to use weekly modules? Are you going to have just content folders for assignments and quizzes and discussion boards? It's really kind of up to you how you organize that, but communicate that to your students in your course management statement so they know how you've organized your class. Also, I'm going to briefly talk about netiquette guidelines and discussion board requirements and the rubric. So I'm going to get out of here and go to Blackboard. So here we are in Blackboard. You can see right here I've created a class info start here. The way I did that is if you go, and I'm going to make this a little bigger so you can see. If you go to this plus sign right here in the corner and you want to add a content area, you could create a new button on the side, and we can call it info start here. You want to make it available to your students. I'm going to hit submit. And now you can see that content area has just been created and it shows up at the bottom of your list, and you can kind of drag it all the way up, put it where you want to put it, and kind of drop it there. So now I just created that. It, of course, is going to be empty. That's where you would populate these things. I'm going to get rid of it because I already have one. So the way I can edit or change is by going to this gray chevron. I can either rename the link, hide the link, or delete the link. I'm going to just delete it because I already have one. So hit delete. So here we are back at mine. This is what I share with my students. And you can see I have my course management statement at the very beginning, and I tell them to please read this. And again, it's really up to you how you want to start this, what you want to tell them. You kind of think through what you want with that. Online Education Service at KCKCC has really some great sample course management statements or things to include. You can certainly contact them if you want to look at some of the samples. I make a big deal about telling my students that I don't want them to suffer in silence. I really want them to contact me if they're struggling or can't figure things out, and I provide my emails and stuff. And then I also kind of tell them what my expectations are, how long I think they're going to need to spend on this course, what the required tasks are. It's really up to you to figure out what you want them to know about your online course. All right, so I'm going to go back here. Other couple things I wanted to share. In addition, I'll come back to this Netiquette and discussion board. I also post a link to learning services for tutoring services, because this is a class information tab. So of course our learning services at KCKCC is located in the Learning Commons building, but they have online and on ground tutoring, writing center, math science tutoring, as well as specific subject tutoring. So I just post a link to that, and the way to do that is in another video on how to do that, but you just add a URL and this link just shoots them directly to those services. I'm going to get out of there. So the Netiquette information. So I found, and the way I found both of these items is just by Googling Netiquette statements. This one that I'm going to show you is from a woman from Idaho State, and she basically kind of outlined what basic netiquette expectations are for online classes and appropriate discourse in a virtual environment. And you can see she talks about emotions and spelling and punctuation and the importance of manners. And there's other kind of strategies to promote problem solving. So really, I would recommend find one that you think makes sense. You can Google them. There's tons out there. There's another one I'm going to show you here in just a second. And this one's actually from Australia, and it's a website. And there's the website information. But it's just a tip for student netiquette. Be accurate, factual information, extend your good nature, use internet resources ethically, promote healthy discussions. So again, it's just a reminder to students of what is appropriate discourse in an online environment. The other thing I want to briefly show you is my discussion board grading rubric. And again, this is something that you can find. There's tons of them out there. I use a 10-point rubric. First thing I tell my students is what my requirements are. For each discussion board that I have, they need to make at least 3 postings. I put quality in quotes because I want them, it's based on the rubric that I have of what a quality post is. One sentence isn't going to do it, probably. And then I have other kind of requirements of when I want them to do things. So this is the rubric. It's a 10-point rubric, and these are the things that I consider: focus, timeliness, specificity, support, thoughtfulness, and use of language. And then I can determine how many points they get off this rubric. But there's lots of them out there. You can determine what's best for you. The other thing you can do to kind of personalize your Blackboard course is you can personalize your Blackboard course by going up here and adding a picture. I encourage students to either add a picture or they can create an avatar. There's lots of ways that you can Google on the internet how to create an avatar, and they can change that by going here to open this kind of navigation menu and settings menu right here. Okay, so I'm going to move out of here, go back to the next part. This is, as I mentioned earlier, just a way to help you organize the course for your students. You can use it or not, but it is a kind of quick way you can create a table that details the week that you're in, the unit that you're covering, the chapter or maybe the reading that they're supposed to be doing, and any assignments that they have. So this is one that I actually use for this semester. And the way I do a week is from Monday to Sunday. So the week starts on Monday and it ends on Sunday night, and then they start a new week the following week. So I'm going to show you in Blackboard how I did that. So here I created this again just by going to the plus and creating a new content menu, but I just upload this. I created it in Word actually as a table and just uploaded it right into Blackboard, and then students can see what they need to do for the entire semester. Again, just a way to help you organize the course for them. You're not in an online environment, you're not going to see them to remind them of things that they need to do. So this might be a way for them to know immediately what they need to be doing. A couple other things that I wanted to talk about is the calendar feature in Blackboard. When you create an exam or an assignment and have like a digital Dropbox for assignment where a student can upload a paper, it asks for a due date. If you put in a due date, that'll automatically populate into the calendar, or you can manually create a due date in Blackboard. So I'm going to show you that really quickly. Blackboard, right here, you see this button that says calendar. You can click on it, and here you see items in my calendar. These are exams or things that I have in Blackboard, and that got there because I put due dates within Blackboard. You can, and the cool thing about this is if a student is taking several classes at KCC and all the instructors use this feature, they will see all of their assignments across all their classes. It's dependent on the instructor populating the information, but that's kind of a neat tool for the students. You can also manually add something. So let's say I want to create a reading assignment. I want it to do on the 30th. Please read blah, blah, blah. I'm going to hit save, and there it's just created a new assignment. So next thing I want to talk about is tips for organizing your course using the course link feature or the copy or move feature. So if we go back here, one of the things that I've created is an assignments tab. Again, I've uploaded, just like I did with the plus, I created a new content area. All the assignments for the course are posted here. Now, what I can do is a course link. So this is posted here, but I want, I know that this is due in one of the modules in the course. So I'm going to go to the module. And I know that Good Will Hunting assignment that I just was showing you is due during therapies, and it's due here. I can click here, and then I go here to build content, go down here to course link, and I can put in a course link. So that was Good Will Hunting in my assignments tab. So I can find it here. Here it is, Good Will Hunting response sheet. It's going to populate. This is a course link to your Good Will Hunting assignment. I'm going to put that in. I'm going to hit submit. And now it's going to show up at the bottom of my module folder, and I can drag it up. I can put it wherever that I want. And so now you can see this little link right here, and it's telling you that the item is linked. So it's a cool feature for students. The other way you can do that is through an announcement. When you create a new announcement, there's a course link right here, and you can see where it says course linking. You can browse to link an item. Last couple things, I would encourage you to provide student lecture slides to your students. You can do that by uploading the publisher provided lecture slides or create notes, your instructor created notes. I've created a tab where I've done that. And a way that you could do that is by building content and adding the individual files for your lecture slides. Or you can post them in the content collection, which is a little bit more advanced. But you can see I have all of my introductory psychology lecture slides posted for my students. All right. Finally, again, we're here to help. If you need any additional resources, you can contact us at the Center for Teaching Excellence. Thank you.